Suicide from Metal Zone Radio, and I'm here with Brandon and Ryan from I Woke Up Early for My Funeral. So, guys, tell me a little bit how the whole name, the funeral, stuff came to play.
I'll leave that to Ryan.
Well, essentially, I was trying to come up with something that was like a seize the day, seize your life saying. I love Halloween, I love horror, and so I'm starting to think to myself as I'm driving around. I'm like, what is a funeral? Like a funeral is like where people talk about all the good, cool things that you have done in your life, and so, well, you may get hit right now. We're doing some crazy stuff. Anyway, speaking of funerals, this guy may get hit by a car. But
Anyway.
with the funeral perspective, so it was just kind of like people talk about all the good things that you've done. So my whole point of the saying of the band name is wake up early, live your life to your heart's content, be who you want to be, whatever you feel like is what your destiny and what you want to do. Wake up and be there.
Good.
So essentially the meaning of the band name and where I came up with it, et cetera, et cetera.
So that leads into the question of how did you guys meet? How did you guys form to play?
Well, I was working at a strip club, and this guy came in, and he was like cashing out the
20s down,
ones.
and he was like,
and then I said, that's not gonna do it. You gotta cash out the 20s. And then he came out with the 20s.
right, and I was like, I'm just kidding. I need that for rent. Took it back. And then we had a fight and everything. No, actually, I moved here I grew up in Pennsylvania. I moved to Las Vegas, lived out in Vegas for about a year and a half, and then I moved to Florida from there. And then I got here, and I was like, man, I got to do music, So I actually put an ad on Craigslist looking for local musicians, local talent, stuff like that. And they contacted me. I think our bass player, John, was the one that actually made the call.
Roni.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he gave me the third degree and about everything. And I said, well, it sounds like something I would be interested in. So I went to, a tryout session where I had to sing in front of these guys.
Tryout. Yeah, it was just kind of like, hey, are you interested in being in our band? Like, this is what we're doing.
Well, no one else wanted to do it, so they pretty much didn't have a choice. I'm just kidding. But,
because we were working at strip clubs. What were we doing?
We had a lot of strippers that wanted to sing in a rock band, but it wasn't. They're only talented at one thing.
I'm better at guitar than taking clothes off.
So I'm pretty sure they didn't inspire or influence the lyrics to you guys' music. How's your lyric?
That I defer to this man.
Lyrically, I think, as for me, as an artist, I always try to find things that people can relate to. And usually we all relate to the same thing. So if it's something about love or loss or life or depression or drugs or anything like that, I think, we all have a general understanding of how that works. So I don't necessarily try to write songs about those things. It's just my personal experience that always comes out in the songs. And I think people relate to that. And I think has been, my driving force always with writing is just, man, how do I feel today? Or what's something I encountered in life that really upset me or really made me happy? Let's see if we can write a song about that.
Now, with that being said, you guys have a new single out, Poison Desire.
Yes.
What was your inspiration?
That one is I would say that's a love and loss song. It's basically about an ex fiance of mine, and it's the typical tragic love story ending. It was good and it went bad, and the poison desire is, you desire someone. Sometimes love is blind. You overlook things. You fall into a trap, and next thing you know, you're fucked. So, and you realize it too late. And the song is basically the story from beginning to end in a song version of basically how that relationship panned out. And I'm all into medieval stuff and castles and stuff, so I kind of gave it a little tint of, came into my kingdom and a king and things like that. Just kind of my own little fantasy at play there. But it's basically a love song, and it's pretty simplistic at that.
So, what bands inspired you guys to play music or sing? If you could play with anybody or anything, like what's the top 5?
I mean, for me, my greatest vocalist was Scott Weiland, rest in peace. always been a Guns N' Roses fan. Axl Rose isn't
coming
one of my
back.
favorite. I heard they're getting back
they
together.
are getting back together.
But it's not all the original members.
Right.
It's like
No, it's
two
just
of them.
Axl and
Just
Slash
Axl.
and
But that's Guns N' Roses. So. But
not-
Miles
it's not a cover
Kennedy,
band.
Chris Cornell, I mean, also some of my favorite vocalists. So
what about you?
You know,
How'd you start?
I started playing music when I was 5. Like my parents were very interested in like me doing as much as I possibly humanly could year round. So they put me behind a drum kit when I was 5, and I loved the Monkees when I was like a little kid, and I grew up with like pop from my parents, and my mom was listening to like pop music, and my dad was listening to like like crazy 70s like rock and stuff. But when I got into my own, it's everything from Django Reinhardt, like jazz stuff, to I listen to some country, I listen to like folk, like singer-songwriter stuff, like shredding guitar guys like Paul Gilbert, Guthrie Govan. I will say like my favorite album of all time, just because sonically, songwriting, just everything like packaged together, is probably Smashing Pumpkins' Siamese Dream. If we could play with anybody right now, I think I would like to play with like band-wise, probably like Avenged Sevenfold. I mean, we've done like
You guys have opened up for some pretty big
yeah, we've
bands,
done like
though,
Earth Day,
so,
Birthday and stuff. So we
yeah.
play with like Slash and some really like big guys, and they're really cool. But like to be on a tour, I think like that would be kind of like a kick-ass, just tour to kind of stay on, and play, a month, a couple months, whatever it is. So those guys, and yeah, I mean, I just have a ton of influences and continue to. I like to absorb stuff because if I get too stale in one direction, you know what I mean. Not to quote that pop band, I don't listen to that, but
that's right.
but it's like right now I listen to a lot of like 21 Pilots, and like it's just it's a weird different thing, but it kind of gets my brain out of that like hard rock mode, so I can like. If I start to write stuff, I can, kind of take a little bit of what's there, and then I'll listen to like jazz, or I'll listen to like other stuff. So I don't ever want to listen to one thing like constantly for a couple years at a time, and then you just kind of go, I'm just regurgitating things, and
Right,
I'm just, I'm
your
doing the same thing
songwriting
over.
starts
Yeah.
to duplicate
Very
that,
stale.
you know.
Yeah.
I listen to a lot of classical music.
That too.
Excuse me, to kind of clear my palate, if you will. Clear the slate. Just
Like soundtracks too,
Reset
Danny
you.
Elfman,
Oh,
stuff
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Yeah. Like I listen to a lot of
Celtic
stuff.
music, all that stuff,
Beetlejuice
you know.
is like my favorite soundtrack of all time. So.
Absolutely, yeah.
So you guys, the band planning for this year? Anything exciting or interesting? Touring?
We have a lot of stuff going on this
Yeah.
year. I mean, we want to record, we want to tour, we want to release another single. We need to make a music video for Poison Desires, so we have a lot going on.
And that's kind of what I think we're like trying to work on right now. We work with a booking agent, and then we're actually starting to work with this new management company. So it's kind of cool. Like we've tried to build it and get it past of just the 4 of us doing, what it is, the DIY thing. And I think you have to always be DIY, and you always have to like promote yourself and push yourself. But at the same time, you realize if you want to take your music to like a higher level, like more of the masses, you have to kind of build that family team. And it's not just like business, because like, yeah, I mean, people are going to make money off of you when you wanted to make it a business, because we all want to do this full time, constantly, all day, 24/7. Like, but it's building that team, that family of people who support you and love what you're doing, and understand that your art, where you're trying to come from, and what you're trying to portray. So that's like a main goal, because we spent like the last year and a half playing out so much, and I think like we took December off pretty much to like enjoy the holidays and whatnot. So it was a good like regrouping kind of moment to just be like, take a breath. Okay, now where's the new direction? Do the video, release the single. And so with this new management company, like I'm really excited. Like she's gonna be at the 13th show. She's coming down in a couple weeks, and so we had like this meeting with her the other day. And, it's just opportunities. Pause. Alright. But and just continuing in your art and your business, and that's the fine line, is finding that, being able to move forward and do it.
As long as we're moving forward, we're doing something right.
Yeah. And that's another thing that I always look at is like 6 months ago, are we better off than we were, as a band? So with all of that in mind, and then you never know what comes up, because there's so many opportunities that come up, like people like will contact you, or with radio and stuff like that. We do the radio show on I know it's Metal Zone, but we do Stone Chrome Radio show, so we have that too, you know, and so it's like we're constantly, big thing that I've always wanted for this band and try to do is just to multitask and not just be like, oh, we're going to write, or oh, we're going to do this. Like, try to just constantly like do as much as we can to see, you know, if it gets us a little bit further than, you know, if you just focus on one thing at a time.
Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't.
But,
Hit or miss.
you know,
Swing and miss.
But as long as we're swinging, you know,
we're trying.
No.
That's what it is.
yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for this interview. And be
thank
sure to
you.
check
Thank
them
you.
out on Metal Zone Radio. I'm Madam Suicide. Keep it metal.